$15 for fast food workers to conform with subdivision 1 of section 652 of the labor law as amended by section 1 of this act, and provided further that in no event may a worker's wages be reduced by such conformity. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that right now we are on track for the fast food workers to outpace what we're doing here, and once they hit a certain level they can never be brought back. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes, I think so.
So right now you are probably going to have a fast food worker outpacing somebody that works at the New York State ARCs?
Well, I think the wage people will look at it and make a decision. If it's going to be a problem like that, I think we might do something about it.
But no indication that that's going to happen?
No indication what you said will happen will happen.
Okay, well, what I said will happen will definitely happen because they're on track for a faster pace to get to 15 than the rest of the state. And actually, upstate New York caps out at $12.50 for now until it's so-called looked at in a few years. But they will be at 15 quicker than the rest of the state will, and in no way can their wages be diminished. So it's something that the wage board should take a look at. Denny, I just mentioned a second ago our New York State ARCs, which do God's work, incredible work, taking care of the most needy folks in our society. And we went through something a couple years ago where we just hammered them, and we were able, through a lot of fighting in here, in a bipartisan way, to get back the funding that they were cut. I'm sure you remember that battle of a few years ago. And our good friend Harvey Wiesenberg, who we miss, was leading the charge on that. Do you have any idea, Denny, how many chapters there are of ARCs in New York State?
Do we know how many ARCs?
So
I don't think so.
I don't want to put you on the spot, Denny. I'll just give you the information because I wouldn't expect you to have that off the top of your head. But there are 48 chapters across New York State, and the New York State ARCs support more than 60,000 individuals, and they employ 30,000 people and have a membership of more than 100,000. And do you recall their executive director, Stephen Kroll, testifying in front of one of our assembly hearings?
Yeah. No, I don't remember.
I just want to give you a second, give you a little quote on what he said because it's important. I believe you had said earlier there's about $4 million in there for not-for-profits. Is that the total amount?
Yes.
Okay. So Stephen Kroll, the executive director, said, quote, "The governor's proposal contains a serious flaw that threatens the financial viability of an entire field of caregivers and the people and family those caregivers support. Without a Medicaid rate increase in the state budget, not-for-profit providers will need to absorb $270 million in increased labor in year one, just year one, and $1.7 billion in added labor costs by 2021, which is when this goes into full effect. $1.7 billion. Such an unfunded expense will be devastating for the field, consequently leading to employee layoffs and diminishing the quality care of tens of thousands of New Yorkers with Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, autism, and neurological impairments." My question for you, Denny, do you doubt the numbers of the executive director of the New York State ARC?
I can't answer that.
Okay. I don't doubt their numbers because that's their job, to know what their payroll is and to know what the projected impact of a minimum wage increase is going to be. So I have no reason to doubt their numbers because it's pretty simple to say I have X amount of employees making this.
I got about 10 reasons why.
I'm sorry?
I'm joking. No, forget it.
So I guess my point there, Denny, is how can we look ourselves in the mirror and say, here's $4 million, but you're now going to suffer an increase of $270 million. I would say that makes last night's Farm Retention Act look great by comparison to what we're about to do to our absolute most needy people. And how can we justify that in this budget?
Oh, again, the compression issue comes up with those numbers. That causes that number to go up very high quickly.
But it's still a
and
number.
Also a different start date and a different payment schedule. So the numbers, that's why I couldn't answer the question, because the numbers and everything are different, and we'd have to see it against what we're doing.
Well,
So-
we know, but Denny, we know what we're doing. We're doing 4 million. They're looking at 270. So give or take,
No, but what they say the outcome is, we say the way they're doing it, it tends to blow it up. The numbers get heavier that
Well,
way.
I mean, even if you say it blows it up by 20%, that's about 54 million. There's still a couple hundred million away. 4 million is absurd. It's obscene. You're going to see ARCs begin to close down and once again hammer our most needy citizens.
Well,
Don't you agree?
I agree, and I don't want to hammer our senior citizens, because I'm one of them now.
Not seniors, our most needy disabled citizens
Yes,
out there.
but we
Or may or may not be senior, by the way.
worked and tried to get as much as we could. This, again, is what we came up with. And again, we continue to function after this budget is passed, and we'll look at it and see what we can do.
Okay, Denny.
And we will look to see what you predicted happened, or does it not happening.
But see, they don't have the time to wait for this for predictions, which we should have done. That's why I was talking about modeling. That's why I was talking about empirical evidence, which is the way a business would operate. They would model it out and see what was going to happen. This is not rocket scientists, and if the state of New York can't do it, we're all in much deeper trouble than I thought. But they don't have the luxury of, let's just wait and see what happens. They know the freight train is coming down the track, and they're going to get run over by it because they can't get out of the way. So it is an obscene thing to do to our ARCs. That's just one point that's a problem with this. Because there are those who would say, how dare you do 15? It should be 20 or 25. Because the fact is, nobody's living large at $15 an hour either, correct?
Yeah, right.
They're not living large there. So what they're going to do, as prices necessarily go up because merchants are going to have to raise their prices to somehow try to survive, they're going to continue to look for the most bang for their buck at $15 an hour, right? I mean, they're going to do that. You would agree, I think?
Yes.
Okay. So that means that the folks that are out there that are still going to be scraping to get by, because 15 will soon become the new broke, they're going to be shopping at Walmart and Target and all the big box stores. That's what they're going to do. They're going to shop for that most bang for the buck. So my question for you is, how is this policy not going to absolutely continue to hammer our small businesses out there on Main Street America? If you look around, we all know the butchers aren't there anymore. There's less florists. Most of this stuff is being encompassed into these big box stores. And I would ask you, don't you think that this policy is going to further drive a nail into the heart of small business owners across the
No.
state?
I think the small businesses, we did everything here to help them. We did the tax cut, and that would, excuse me, the tax cut, which will give them some help, because the small businesses, as we described them, tend to be personal income tax people.
Yeah.
So they will get money back there. They'll get help. So I'm not ready to believe that the end of the earth has come yet.
So, Denny, the tax cut, though, and you're talking about the way small business owners typically file, that depends on